Today I will talk about importance of STEM-oriented pedagogy, formative assessment, and recent advances in STEM. And my contest will be the NEP 2020. So I always start my talk with this picture. This is showing a classroom which has a student. This depicted that every student have a different capabilities, but we have only one kind of exam system. So if question is who will climb first to the tree, so we naturally we see that the bird will be the first, monkey will be third, and other will be some of them will never climb the tree. So I will explain this contest in my talk later, but this is the kind of education system we have today. So I always in the beginning of my talk I say that what is the takeaways from my talk. So you have to take only three words. If you are taking away three words from my talk, that is the what is the subject oriented or discipline oriented pedagogy, what is formative assessment, and the recent advances. You are talking about pedagogy and you know everything, but if you are not knowing the recent knowledge which you are integrating to your students, they are not going to perform. So it's these three very necessary aspect of the NEP 2020 which I will explain in the talk later. So this is my outline. First, I will talk about the what is the 21st century education. I will also give some background of education system in India and the context of NEP 2020. Then I will talk about the why the STEM are domain specific pedagogy is necessary. And third, I will talk about the formative assessment. Why do we need it and what are the challenges? Then I will integrate some recent knowledge in higher education and research, which includes many things. And I will also talk about the Nobel Prize in Physics this year. Then I will conclude my talk. So before starting my talk, I show something means I show this figure always. Uh, First, the same question, why do we need education in general and STEM in particular, and education policies? This is my question for everybody. We will talk in the last. So I start with this figure. This figure is uh, well researched by the Michael Semblast. He was the CEO of JP Morgan Institute, you know, and this indicates shows the 2000 years economic history in one chart. So this is the percentage y-axis, and x-axis is the timeline from first AD to till 2017. You see from the 1820 here, India almost share the 20-25% of the uh, world GDP, and China is also sharing a large number. But what happens after 1980, 1822 that our economy shrinks and we become developing and uh, nation, and that was the reason we were called. What was the reason that we were the golden bird, sone ki chidiya? And we will see somehow it is because of the education system. So what kind of education system we have that time, I will discuss this later. I always quote this one also. The Professor Utsa Patnaik from JNU, she did a very, very careful estimation using the tax and another trade data. And she calculated that in between 1765 to 1938, British take out around $45 trillion from the India. So, and it is the half of the economy. If you estimate in the present day, then 45 trillion dollar from India. So what was the reason that we had so much money at that time? So we will I will give you a glimpse of it in the next slides. So our old education system. So I took this quote from the Professor Saluja of Delhi University. He said, Bharat means it's a sandhi of two words, Bha and Rat means Prakash. Bha means Prakash, Rat matlab lean. प्रकाश मीन्स नॉलेज, ज्ञान। तो उनके कहने का स्थान था भारत में नॉलेज की हमेशा पूजा होती रही, जहाँ के लोग हमेशा ज्ञान में, एजुकेशन में जुड़े रहे। और इस जिसके जो हमारा वो मीन्स इट इज इन आवर, you can say, in tradition, education. And what was the reason that we were so successful in the past? Our education system was mostly the skill based exam, it was not the examination based. And the key points of our education system are it was paid by the society or students, mostly society, so it was almost free. Skill and ethical values was the paramount. Respect for the teachers. So I always say, and I have seen in the present world also, that the respect of the teacher in the I find out it, teacher in the society is proportional to the prosperity of the nation. You can take example of Germany, Japan. The respect of teacher in the society is paramount and the epitome. I can give you an example. If there is some acquisition on some teacher, and somehow first the case will not sustain, if there is serious allegation, if the matter will go into the court, all the process will happen in the court, everybody will be standing there in the respect of teacher. So, and like in India, the the administrators are more powerful, but in the West I have seen that the professors, they are more powerful. They don't have administrative power, but they are very, very powerful. Innovation and research was the very important part of the Indian education system. Chase, surgery, the rhinoplasty is the key of the modern surgery. Metallurgy, the law, Islam, and many other, mathematics, astronomy, science, literature, philosophy, spirituality, everything was uh, get away from India to the world. And that was the kind of our education system and that time. And absolute freedom for the teachers. उनको क्या पढ़ाना है, it will be decided by the teachers. Now we are bound by the curriculum, syllabus, and many things. We are not ready to give the autonomy. So but at that time वो टीचर्स का अपना गुरुकुल या उनका यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम्स है, उसमें you will go and study according to it. It also happens now in west कि सुब्रमण्यम स्वामी की कोई क्लास है, उसमें आपने फीस जमा किया और पढ़ा. And with this, the what are the gist of our old education system? And this gist also holds very good for the 21st century. It was given by the Vivekanand. He described the three important part of education. First, the manifestation of perfection. Vivekanand, he believed that education is the manifestation of the perfection already in the man. He emphasized that education should serve to bring out the inherent quality and potential in each individual. As I showed you in my first slide, in classroom you have a monkey, bird, means everybody has different qualities and potential. We have to nurture it. First, we have to recognize it, then we have to nurture it. When I was in Israel, I will give you a story. When I was in Israel, so I asked a Jewish person, because I always heard that अभी तक ये 1000 के करीब 900 समथिंग नोबेल प्राइजेस वर्ल्ड में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए गए हैं 1901 से, और उसमें से 33% के करीब यहूदियों को मिला है, ज्यूस लोगों को, जिनकी जनसंख्या इज अराउंड 1 करोड़ 20 लाख के करीब है. तो क्या है कि जो 800 करोड़ में से सिर्फ 1 करोड़ जो जनसंख्या है वो 33% नोबेल प्राइज जीती है. वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी का 50% जो कंपनियां हैं वो ज्यूस की हैं, चाहे वो आप ब्लैक रॉक जैसी कंपनी की बात करो, फेसबुक की बात करो, गूगल की बात करो, सबके जो मालिक वो हैं. तो आई वेंट टू ज्यूस फैमिली एंड आस्क व्हाट वाज द रीजन. वहाँ क्या है, माता पिता ही अपने, उनके 4 बच्चे हैं, तो जिसमें जो क्वालिटी होगी उसी को बढ़ाएंगे. हमारे देश जैसा नहीं है कि नहीं है, पैसा दे के बीटेक करा दिया, उसके बाद वो आदमी घूम रहा है पतरा लेके. So that's not. So we have to. This was told by the Vivekanand in first. Second, the character building. Character building. Academic institutions The job of academics is not only to give the knowledge but also to develop of the character. He emphasized the importance of moral values, ethics as an integral part of education system. You know why it is must. Wherever we are used to, we can see these examples everywhere. कोई रोड बन रही है, कुछ है, लेकिन आपको कहीं ना कहीं उसमें समस्या, कहीं बम्पी है तो कहीं पानी लग रहा है। ये स्किल के साथ साथ आप अपना काम ठीक से नहीं सीख रहे हो, एथिक्स के साथ नहीं करो, ये एक चीज है। तो ये इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। थर्ड वाज द होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट। विवेकानंद always advocated for the balanced approach to the education that nurtures individually, physically, mentally and spiritually। ये तीनों मस्ट है। फिजिकली टू सर्वाइव इन डे टू डे वर्क, मेंटली यू हैव टू further your cognitive skills, spiritually when you are alone, you are finding yourself, then you need such a thing as spirituality. So it is very necessary. And he believed that the education should be for all around development, blending intellectual growth with spiritual enlightenment. So this was the gist of Indian old education system, and this founded the base for the new education system for the whole world. So what happened? What is the 21st century education? So what happened? UNESCO established a commission in the leadership of Dello. He was the professor from France in actually 1993, that go try to find out what the education system look like in the 21st century. What is the need of 21st century? So this committee found out and gave the four pillars of learning. One of the most the four pillars. What are there? These four pillars are learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. So, if I explain the learning to know, this pillar emphasizes the acquisition of foundational knowledge and development of cognitive and intellectual skills. It suggests that the students should be taught on not just rote facts but also how to learn processes and apply information in various contexts. In 21st century, with the rapid expansion of knowledge due to technological advances, it's crucial for individual to learn how to discern and assimilate constantly evolving information. And second was the learning to do. This focuses on equipping individuals with the skill to apply knowledge to the real world. It's about competency based education, emphasizing not just knowledge acquisition but also the ability to perform tasks and solve problems. You know, the in changing job market and the global economy, students must be prepared with skills that make them adaptable, innovative, and capable of solving new and forcing challenges. And the next one is learning to be. This pillar emphasizes personal development, self awareness, emotional intelligence. It's about ensuring education contributes to the all around development of each individual. Mind, body, intelligence, sensitivity, aesthetic appreciation, and spirituality. In the context of the 21st century, with the increasing stress, mental health challenges, and the search for purpose, this pillar represents the holistic development of individual, ensuring they well-rounded, balanced, and equipped to handle personal challenges. Uh, Learning to live together. You know, the 21st century is the globalized world. You are going around the world. You are uh, meeting with the different kind of people, culture, society. So uh, uh, you have to have understand their culture. So you have to develop the tolerance with the ethnic, religious, and linguistic group. So and you have to learn the collaborative skills to work with the different kind of persons. I want to share two things here. I learned that if you want to survive anywhere in the round, do friendship with Russian people. They know where to find the cheapest thing, which we Indian mostly want. So what I learned with such a collaboration and such thing. So these four pillars provide a holistic framework for education, emphasizing not just knowledge acquisition but also skill development, personal growth, and social responsibility. They recognize the broad role of education in personal and social development. So these are the four pillars what I explained. And another is the vision of lifelong learning. As you know, Professor AC Pandey was also talking about these things. So this commission emphasized that the learning is a continuous journey that extend beyond formal education. Lifelong learning was proposed to as a core principle, integrating learning experiences from all stages and facts of life, ensuring adaptability in an ever changing world. And global context and challenges. Like you say, Professor A.C. Pandey also says, now we are living in a global world. We call it a village. Like in the case of Corona, it came from some countries, spread out the whole world, and whole world came into the stress. Same happened in the Ukraine-Russia war. Air prices were suffering from this war. Now you know the problem in Israel, many thousand people killed in the fight between Hamas and the IDF, Israeli Defense Forces. So such kind of things will affect you. So we are living in a global world. We have to, when we are taking any decision, we are doing any small thing in our life, we have to think that it can impact to the whole world. So this is the learning from the this 21st century education system. And our NEP 2020 has assimilated this thing. This Delo Commission, mostly you see they adopted from the Vivekananda, yeah, our old Indian system, and modified according to the what is the need of 21st century, keeping the most of the gist from there. And we kept all those things in our mind, our old education system and this 21st century skills. Uh, so now you know there is a discourse in the country as a whole, and particularly in the media, that there is a NEP, and what we can get from the NEP, what part belong to the teacher, what for the institution, and it's a confusion how to implement it. These are the things. So I went through many times to the NEP and find out that there is a section. Acha, can I ask how many of can you type have gone through at least a glimpse of have a glimpse of NEP 2020?
I have gone through, sir.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, so it's okay. So I find out that what a teacher can give. There is a most of the implementation part belong to the institutional development, government part, ABC, and so on and so forth. But for the teacher, without any help, we can do three. We For us, it's a 12.1. So I will read once whole and tell what we can get from it. So 12.1 says that effective learning requires a comprehensive approach that involves the appropriate curriculum. So what is curriculum? We must learn engaging pedagogy, continuous formative assessment, and adequate student support. The curriculum must be interesting and relevant and updated regularly to align with the latest knowledge requirement to meet specific learning outcomes. So there are three important things. What is the my title? First, pedagogy, engaging. It means it should be for the higher education, it was subject oriented. I will explain why what engaging means. It should be subject oriented. Continuous formative assessment. Formative assessment, what is formative assessment? We have to do it in our classes. Do we have formative assessment? If somebody is using, any one of you if using, let me know, you can type it. And a third is the updated regular means recent knowledge integration. If you don't you are not telling your student what is happening in the recent world, he can't jump into the the research topics are in a core area. There should not be knowledge gap in their study in masters or PG. So recent knowledge integration is very very important. Time to time we have to change, we have to integrate things. And high quality pedagogy is necessary to successfully impart the curriculum material to students. Pedagogical practices determine the learning experiences that are provided to students, thus directly influencing learning outcomes. The assessment methods must be scientific, designed to continuously improve learning and test the application of knowledge. Last but not least, the development of capacities that promote student wellness, such as fitness, good health, psychosocial well being, and the sound ethical grounding, are also critical for the high quality learning. So it says optimum learning environments and support for students. This is the role of teacher. Learning, somehow we have to increase the learning outcome, and in order to do the learning outcome we have to do three things. We need a engaging pedagogy that needs research in a subject oriented or discipline oriented pedagogies. Continuous formative assessment, I will explain is very this formative assessment in later slides. And recent knowledge integration, it's very very important. If you are not up to date, our students skill will not be enough for the research or the market. So why the STEM oriented pedagogy or subject or discipline oriented pedagogy is important? Professor AC Pandey has covered it. So, but I will point out some points why it is very important. So, subject oriented pedagogy in higher education refers to teaching strategies and methods that are tailored to specific demand, nature, and nuances of individual disciplines. You can't teach biology as we teach the mathematics, you can't teach mathematics as we teach the chemistry. Every subject has a different pedagogy. Law you have to teach as a case study, poetry you will teach in a different measure. So for the higher education we have to have the subject oriented pedagogy, not the generic pedagogy. That will not work at all. So what are the important points in it? Depth of understanding. Why people go for the higher education, undergrad or masters, for different subject and in order to have the in-depth understanding. So subject oriented pedagogy ensures that the students grasp the nuances and intricacies unique to the particular discipline, as I gave the example. Relevance and context, when you teach the different subject you have to give the history background, histories, leading framework. So if you are teaching the physics, you have to, if you are teaching the gravity, you have to tell about it came from the Ptolemy. And if you are Indian context, Kadad gave the concept of gravity, then you will come Brahe, then Copernicus, Kepler, etc. Then the student will generate some interest. So a pedagogy that's tailored to subject can bring out some contextual elements, making learning more relevant and rooted. You know, there is a institute called Clay Institute problem. Means there are 10 problems, actually you say 7, which is not solved in last 100 years. It's an open problem. If some student will solve it, he will get $1 million. Only one problem have been solved by the Piankare uh, uh, theorem by the Perlman from the Russia. Otherwise, 6 is still open. So you can tell the students in the class these are the problems. Big problem in physics. You know the physics, H constant, G constant, velocity of y, they are the constant or have a particular value. If we change the value, what will happen to the inverse? These are the open question. We have to solve it. What is dark matter, dark energy? There is no answer. If you tell the students from the beginning, any one of them can go and find out the solution. So we have to tell them what the relevance and contexts. So what I was talking about, the unsolved problem, breach and sweet tron dire conjecture, Hodge conjecture, Navi Stokes equation, P and versus NP. It's a very big problem related to the market. Riemann hypothesis. Who has studied mathematics and any level complex number, we know it. In physics, Young Mill and the mass gap. You see, in high energy physics. So these are the open questions we can tell our undergrad master's student that these are the open problem. It should look into it, find out the solution, get $1 million. The next point is the engagement and interest. So this the like a one size fits all approach means everybody has the different shoe sizes. So uh, that's the same. You can draw parallel for the pedagogy. Every subject has a different qualities. So to alienate a student in that direction and tailor that pedagogy, you need to have a different methodology to engage the students. And like in last lecture, I heard that there was a question that students are leaving this pharmacy and everything. So we have to tell in the beginning that when I teach somewhere physics, I tell that this year, this how many Nobel Prizes we won in the atomic molecular physics, why it is important, what is the use of lasers. Means you have to motivate the students, and you have to have such a pedagogy to attract the which should be engaging and interesting. Preparation for the specialization, if a student is going for research and masters, he has to learn the intricacies of the subject. So you prepare those students for the specialization. Facilitates critical thinking. Subject specific pedagogies often delve deeper into disciplinary controversies, methodologies, and debates, allowing students to engage in critical thinking and to understand the evolution and dynamism of the field. I will explain it in the terms of physics in next slides. Authentic assessment, as I said, formative assessment should be the authentic. I will also explain in another next slides about this one. So these are the uh, and one more, promotion of interdiscipline. The in STEM we talk about the Pandey sir and Professor Bharantendu Singh, they talked about the importance of STEM and interdisciplinarity. And you have foundation of one subject very good, it will work for the another subject. So uh, even for the STEM studies, you have to know the basics of all subject, in depth. That's why such a pedagogies promotes the interdisciplinary learning. So, both Professor A.C. Pandey and Bhartendu Singh had talked more about the importance of STEM education, but I will read this. STEM education aims to foster inquiring minds, logical reasoning, collaboration skills. In recent years, there has been a strong push globally to emphasize STEM field because they play a crucial role in the modern economy and are key driver of innovation, economic growth, and the societal achievement. Why STEM education is very important? One reason, the technological development. Sir was telling that in last 10 100 years, it's 10,000 times increases the technology. In next few years, the all the jobs of the clerk and all those things, and even many chat GPT or AI will take away. So what do you have to study? You have to study four things. A education system have four things. What? Critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and communication. We have to foster these four skills into the students. How it will come into? From the these math, you need the mathematics skills uh, to be competent in the market, because it will be changing very rapidly. That's why the STEM education is very, very important. So as a whole, I told that why this STEM oriented or discipline oriented pedagogy is important. But I am coming to the physics. Why physics pedagogy? Physics itself a very interdisciplinary subjects. It uses the concept of mathematics, mathematical background. It looks at the nature and apply the mathematics to the nature, and from there many things, any invention, like the first invention which got the Nobel Prize, X-ray, you know in 1887 it was invented by the Rontgen. After the 3 months after the invention, it was being used by the hospitals. Still today you see the X-ray. So physics has a multi invention of internet. I am talking about the quantum computing which is coming. It will change everything, medicinal and chemistry things, and your information, quantum computing. So physics is itself a very uh, interdisciplinary kind of thing. In biology we do a lot of things, the biophysics, sociophysics, economy. So if, my point of view, if we understand the pedagogy of physics, we can draw parallels for other subjects in the STEM. So, and this is also I will go um, in a glance, because Professor Pandey has explained this. So how it should be active learning and collaborative techniques. So इसमें a student can learn it from the engaging, sorry, student can learn from the interactive methods and collaborative techniques. Suppose students are doing a pendulum experiment, harmonic motion, as, as we do with the, they engage directly with the material, discussing hypotheses and result with the peer, with peer means their colleagues. The method transforms the classroom into interactive lab, fostering deep understanding and cooperative problem solving, as seen when the students collectively calculate their period of their pendulum swings. So they interact and the length, and they will change and interact and see that how the time period depends and what is the um, harmonic motion. So from the collaborative technique, they can learn this. Use of technology and simulations. We can simulate anything, how the planets moves the sun, yeah, any phenomena which is computable, how the hydrogen atom S cell jumps to the P cell, what happened to the atom. Electron does not jump, we all know that the it changes its electron cloud from spherical to the dumbbell shape. So that kind of thing we can visualize. I did the same thing in when I was teaching this thing in Sweden. We calculated all the from S to P, P to D, all kind of electron clouds with the students, and they learned very well it. Inquiry based learning. So inquiry based learning, yeah, that is also called the project based learning, as Professor A.C. Pandey has explained. So I will not talk about this one. So problem based learning, this approach uses real world problem as a context for uh, apply to their theoretical knowledge. I can take an example here. The uh, cost efficient roller coaster problem. It's an economics problem, but we can use the kinetic and um, energy conservation. We can apply in this problem and find out the solution. That this physics branches, socio and econo physics, there we use such kind of thing. And the physics education research, I left this blended learning, because now we know that it's since like we are doing here the online mode, but its online mode is not very interactive. It's look like that only I am speaking, and it's not very so blended mode is very very important, because it has the feel of classroom, and the also it's online. So it's very important for all kind of uh, subject, not only particular to the this physics pedagogy. So, and another is the physics education research. This is called the PER, and one of the our speakers, Professor Chandrlekha Singh, she is the founding member of such institute in USA. She will tell you. So suppose we are teaching quantum mechanics in BSc part 1 2, or where you introduce the quantum mechanics, so you are telling what is the wave function. I think biology, chemistry, physics, everywhere we know the what is the this wave function. What is its probabilistic interpretation? Uh, So what we do in PR, you go and teach and see the what is the learning outcome of a student. Then if there is a 30% understood, then what you have to do that the learning outcome should increase. So such a research in which we increase the learning outcome and make the understanding better to the students, that is called the physics. That is very very important. It should be chapter wise, so a lot of research is needed. And the another method is in physics, particularly conceptual understanding assessment. So tools like this force concept inventory help gauge students' understanding and misconception. It was a method which was developed in mid 1985 to teach the how the force work. You know the pulley problem, where you take the different components and solve the these things. So this force concept inventory made it very easy at that time. Even we can use it today. So such a thing we can use. And the peer instruction, encouraging students discussion and peer explanation can consolidate their understanding. I remember one phenomena when I was in BSc. तो वो सूरज निकलता है सुबह तो लाल कलर का रेडिश होता है, देन पीक पे वो येलो, फिर शाम को रेडिश हो जाता है। तो मैंने कहीं से अपना कॉन्सेप्ट लाया कि दैट इज कॉल्ड द डॉपलर शिफ्ट, और मैं सबको एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था, तो उसमें दो तीन लोग बोले नहीं नहीं दिस इज नॉट द डॉपलर शिफ्ट, ये कुछ और है। तो फिर बोला नहीं यही है, फिर आई वेंट टू द लाइब्रेरी एंड स्टडीड एंड आई फाउंड आउट दैट दे वेर द राइट। सो मैंने बहुत सारी चीज अपने क्लासमेट से सीखी। यदि आपके क्लासमेट्स पीयर आर वेरी गुड, आपका लर्निंग आउटकम बड़ा अच्छा हो जाता है। Reflective practices and metacognition, getting student to think about their thinking can significantly learning means आप अपने आप को जज करो। कोई एक्सपेरिमेंट आपने अपने से डिजाइन किया किया देखा उसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम था। तो मेटाकॉग्निशन भी एक चीज है, बच्चों को वी शुड प्रमोट एंड मोटिवेट फॉर द सच अ थिंग। So these are the important key points which we can use in our physics or pedagogy and draw the parallels from here. Now I will talk about the formative assessment, the second thing which we can take away from our NEP 2020. What is formative assessment? You know, mostly there are two kind of summative and formative in what we do in our Indian education system. आप 6 महीने में एक बार या साल में एक बार परीक्षा लेते हो, प्रश्न पूछा और साल भर का नॉलेज टेस्ट कर लिया, दैट इज कॉल्ड समेटिव। फॉर्मेटिव मीन समग्र, टोटल, होल, डे बाय डे, कंटिन्यूअस। ये जो प्रोसीजर है दैट इज कॉल्ड द फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट। अब व्हाई इट इम्पोर्टेंट, इट वर्क्स लाइक यू नो द टेम्परेचर सेंसर। आपको 26 डिग्री पे एसी को रखना है तो कैसे, या किसी भी पानी को गर्म करना है तो पहले क्या करता है वो 10 डिग्री के लिए करंट देगा, जब वो पहुंचा फिर 12, फिर 15, जैसे जैसे क्लोज होते जाएगा वैसे स्लो होगा। तो जब आप बच्चों का आउटपुट फिर जानोगे कि वो कितना लर्न कर रहे हैं, वो फीडबैक आपके पास आ रहा है, तो यू विल इम्प्रूव योर टीचिंग मेथड, असेसमेंट मेथड in technology integration. That's why the formative assessment is very very important. और ये लर्निंग आउटकम को बढ़ाने में इसका बहुत बड़ा रोल हो सकता है। व्हाट वी कैन डू इन आवर क्लासेस, व्हाई इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, फीडबैक फोकस्ड। आप फीडबैक लेते हो और उससे पता लगता है कि बच्चे को क्या आ रहा है, हमें क्या इम्प्रूव करना है, कौन बच्चा कैसा है, और हम उसको सही कर लेंगे। वही जो मैंने फर्स्ट पेज पे वो फोटो दिखाई थी कि एक क्लास में अलग अलग माइंड्स हैं, तो वो यदि फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट रहेगा तो वी कैन असेस वेरी नाइसली। कंटिन्यूअस एज आई टोल्ड यू, डे बाय डे पे होना चाहिए ये इसका है। और इसमें बहुत सारे मेथड्स हैं एंड आई विल रीड द नेम हियर। से होमवर्क यू कैन गिव, ग्राफिक ऑर्गेनाइजर्स, एग्जिट स्प्लिट्स, जर्नल एंट्रीज, Summaries, observations, reflections, performance tasks, minute papers, worksheets, peer assessment, group assignments, diagrams, discussions, rubrics, comprehension questions, concept maps, video responses, checklists, oral responses. अब ये है कि एक सिलेबस है और यू हैव टू टीच 100 स्टूडेंट्स और उसमें भी 36 ही घंटे मिल रहे हैं, तो हाउ वी विल डू? सो आप क्या कर सकते हो, जो इजी चैप्टर्स है यू कैन गेट फॉर द शार्ट नोट्स इन अ ग्रुप, दे कैन डिस्कस, एंड जो उसका आधा बचता है वो यू कैन टीच इज वेरी नाइसली. सो थोड़ा सा हम लोग को हार्ड वर्क करना पड़ेगा. बेनिफिट्स क्या है? पर्सनलाइज्ड लर्निंग है. Means you know every students interact with you, you know when you will interact, तो वो सीखना उनका बढ़ जाता है. इन एंगेजमेंट बढ़ने से यही होता है. स्किल डेवलपमेंट करने का सबसे सही तरीका है कि आप उसको हर लेवल पे देखो कि कैसे वो लर्न कर रहा है, वो सही होता है. प्रमोशन ऑफ रिफ्लेक्टिव प्रैक्टिसेस, बच्चे अपने से कुछ करके ले जाते हैं कि और सर को बताना है, ये पूछेंगे, तो वो चीज वो अप्रोच बढ़ता है. और जो फाइनल एग्जाम का रिडक्शन ऑफ फाइनल एग्जाम स्ट्रेस, you know if you are assessing your student day by day, then what is the need of final examination? You know who is what. So you can ask in a final question only 20% of the whole paper, and sure, for that you need autonomy. So this is the graph. It's called the Bloom 2 sigma problem. It is done in around 1986. So he took a class, conventional class, which has 30 students, and this is the number of learners in this axis y, and x is the performance. So you see, it is somewhere here. When mastery learning means उन्होंने तब तक पढ़ाया क्लास को जब तक कि सारे बच्चे एक पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट को खींच ना जाए. ऐसा जब उन्होंने किया, टाइम लिया, तो ये परफॉर्मेंस जो है यहाँ पर आ गई, ये ब्लू वाली 1 सिग्मा शिफ्ट. लेकिन जब उन्होंने इंडिविजुअल 1 बाई 1 पढ़ाया, तो क्लासरूम जो है वो 2 सिग्मा से शिफ्ट हो गया. 2 सिग्मा मतलब लर्निंग आउटकम सीधे का सीधे 60% बढ़ गया. इट मीन्स कि फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट यदि 60 की भी क्लास है या 50 की भी क्लास है, हम फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट करते हैं, तो वो वह 1 to 1 लर्निंग की तरफ होगा. आपका लर्निंग आउटकम सीधे 2 सिग्मा से बढ़ जाएगा. जिस क्लास में 50 बच्चे पास होते थे या सीखते थे 50%, वो लर्निंग आउटकम 85% हो जाएगा. सो that is the power of formative assessment. Challenges हैं, we know it's a time consuming. क्वालिटी ऑफ फीडबैक, जो फीडबैक है वो बहुत अच्छा होना चाहिए. क्वालिटी नहीं तो यदि उसमें वेग होगा, यू कांट जज राइटली, देन इट इज नॉट यूजफुल. सो इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ फॉर्मेटिव असेसमेंट जो है वो तभी होगा कि जब क्वालिटी फीडबैक हो. स्टूडेंट का परसेप्शन, चूंकि वो समेटिव सिस्टम से आते हैं, साल में एक बार परीक्षा दे के आते हैं, आप इसको ले आओगे, तो ये कुछ है क्या स्टाफ प्रेजेंटिंग. ओके. Student, you have to change the student perception about the summative assessment. You have to draw their attention towards the summative. So it's the one of the challenges. Integration with the technology, you need a lot of technology integration to cater the 50-60 students class to do the formative assessment. So that's also a challenge. Okay. So third part, what I took away from the NAP is the recent knowledge integration. So the point is, if you are not integrating the recent knowledge, you will be outdated, and even for the research as well as for the market, you will not be the competent. So that's why the recent knowledge integration is very important. So relevance to the modern world, I explained you. Preparation for the job market, it's necessary. And third is the fostering innovation. Everybody is talking about these days the innovation. Those countries who innovating is still surviving. South Korea, Singapore, Israel, they spend a lot of money for the innovation. And only in Israel, जब कोई बच्चा मास्टर्स कर लेता है, या फ्रांस में ही था, तो उनको 100K यूरो 1 लाख यूरो दे देते हैं कि तुम्हें जो करना हो, एक अच्छा प्रपोजल लिख के लाओ, और उसमें भी 1,000 बच्चों को दिया और 3 बच्चों का ही टेक्नोलॉजी सक्सेसफुल हुआ, स्टार्टअप्स या जो, तो वो पैसा वापस आ जाता है। और वो प्रमोट करता है बच्चों को कि इस आप कुछ अलग करो। सो वी शुड आल्सो ब्रिंग सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग। Now I will talk about some recent development in the field of astrophysics and physics, recent knowledge integration in real. So you see, this is our solar system. Sun is at the center. All planets are moving around it, and this is the uh, belts where you have stones and ice ices, and you also have after Pluto such kind of thing that is called the Copper belt. And the question is how many planets is our solar system? 8 or 9? You can write your answer in the you know chat box. So I will explain a little bit history of our solar system. So in India, Aryabhat gave both the concept geocentric and heliocentric. Geocentric means sun, earth is at the center of our solar system, and heliocentric means sun is our at the solar system. But Aryabhatta emphasized was mostly on the geocentric, but he also mentioned about the heliocentric model. Ptolemy, he also talked about in the Greece about the such geocentric models. And people are very curious about this thing from the very old time in India and even in around the globe. In 1543, first time in the West, Copernicus told, this is the original picture, the sun is at the center, all the planets move around it. The first time in the West people knew about this, but in India it was the concept that sun is also may also be at the center of our solar system. So this is the original notes of the Tycho Brahe, who actually measured many things. It's a you see it's about a comet which is passing at his time. He also measured how the planets move around the sun, and the Kepler was the assistant to him for a year. Later, he plotted, used his data, Tycho Brahe, and brought all this Kepler's law. And from the Kepler law, we know all the planetary motions, three Kepler's law. We are the STEM people, we know it. So I always say a planet moves because an apple falls on the earth. Means the gravity which causes the apple fall on the earth, same gravity works to move our earth around the sun. So ये जो एप्पल वाली स्टोरी है ना, ये एनेक्डोटल ही है। इसमें न्यूटन का ऐसा है, मतलब वो कहावत की तरह हो गई। लेकिन ये क्या था, जो केपलर्स लॉ था ना, क्या व्हाट कौन सा फोर्स है जो सन को अर्थ को पुल करता है, क्या रीजन है, इलेप्टिकल शेप है, यहाँ से ग्रेविटी एक्चुअली इसके बैक ऑफ द माइंड में इन लोगों के थी। And the why earth moves, we all know that's the gravitational force. I have take the analogy of the ball we use in the in our childhood. The rocket has the the escape, you need the escape velocity to go out of our solar system, sorry, from the earth atmosphere. So how big our solar system is? So some units for those who are not from the physics background. So distances, we measure in light year, kilometer, meters. The speed of light is in a meter per second. Sun and Earth distance is 15.03 crore kilometers, which is called the astronomical unit. The speed of light is around 3 lakh kilometer per second. And what light travels in a 1 year? That is called 9461 and 1 2 3 4 5 zeros crore kilometers. You know the distance. So yeah, so how our planetary system formed. So I will show you this simulation. It's a very, very delicate simulation. It took a lot of time. It's a very good friend of mine from the Caltech. He did it. So I will show you. You can watch, then I will explain. I will explain. Yeah. So what happens? There is a gas and dust which is left out after death of any star. And what happens? They, because of the gravity, all this dust gas start moving and create a lot of pressure at the center. That is the region sun formed here. So it is the beginning of our solar system. Sun has just born. Then you see how the planets form. I will explain it later. वो जो डिस्क है प्लेनेटरी फॉर्मेशन डिस्क, उसका एक पोर्शन का ये कट है, और वहां पे प्लेनेटेमल्स कैसे फॉर्म हो रहे हैं वो बता रहा है. 10 seconds इज इक्वल टू 1 मिलियन ईयर. उसमें अभी सिमुलेशंस है प्लेनेटरी माइग्रेशन सिमुलेशन. Okay, so you see this simulation how our planetary system form, how the debris cleared, and with all our planets got the, the stable orbit. But is Pluto is still in the Kuiper belt. It is not able to clear its surrounding debris. That's why in astronomers, this International Astronomical Society uh, consider it a dwarf planet, not a planet, only because of the one reason it failed, that it could not clear its vicinity. So This is our galaxy. It's, you can't see whole galaxy, so it's artistic view. You see, these are the this 0 degree 180 to 0. It's a 75 light years. So our this disk is around 1 lakh kilometer. Light takes 1 lakh kilometer from here to here, yeah, here to here, and its thickness is around 1,000 to 3,000 um, light years. And our sun is somewhere here, this one in Orion is for this arm. You see, our galactic center is here somewhere, so we live somewhere here. And like earth rotates around the sun, sun rotates around the our solar system, and it takes 255 million years. And this is called the, the deep field. It was taken by the Hubble telescope around 2003 and 4. आप एक टेनिस की बाल को 100 मीटर दूर रख दो अपने आंख से, और उतने स्थान में, मतलब 1/1 मिली मीट स्क्वायर मीटर या उससे थोड़ा सा बड़े में से आप देखोगे तो ये पिक्चर दिखेगा। इसमें ये तारे नहीं है, ऑल आर द, द गैलेक्सीज। सो आवर यूनिवर्स इज सो रिच, so many galaxies. So what happens, this UCLA galactic group, uh, we didn't know what was the mass of our black hole. The all the galaxy have a black hole in the center. It's uh, assumption. So in order to check this one, the physicists try to look at our galactic center. If we see from here to our galactic center, we have to see like 25,000 light years in the gas and dust, and only infrared can penetrate it. So we need a very advanced technology which is developed by Andrea Gage. So these are the stars in the center of our uh, galaxy, and we are looking at what, 0.24 degree from the earth. And I will start this simulation from when the observation in from 1995.5, 6 महीने 1995 से सिमुलेशन शुरू कर रहा हूं मैं। ये देखिए, ये डेट बढ़ रहा है, और ये एक स्टार्स जो है, एक पॉइंट है जिसके चारों ओर घूम रहा है, वो दिख नहीं रहा है, लेकिन येलो वाला स्टार जो है लगभग 16 साल में एक चक्कर लगाता है। ये सारे स्टार भी इसी पॉइंट के चारों ओर घूम रहे हैं, देखिए ध्यान से। तो ये दिस इज कॉल्ड द SO2 स्टार। अब ये एकदम इसके पास में 37 एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट पास तक ये पहुंचता है, और इधर इसका लेंथ है जो 1000 एस्ट्रोनॉमिकल यूनिट, और सिर्फ 16 साल में इतना हैवी। तो इफ वी नो द मोशन ऑफ 2-3 स्टार्स around it, we can estimate the mass of this black hole. So what is the mass of our black hole? It is called Sagittarius A, which is in our galaxy. It's a 40 lakh times of our sun masses. Its diameter is around 1.46 crore kilometer. And for this discovery, Andrea Gage got the Nobel Prize in 2020. She is from the UCLA, California. Same thing, the International Astronomical Union, they decide which are the planets which are not, and they excluded this our Pluto, because it could not clear the debris. And you see, this is, I'm talking about the planet X. What is planet X? You see, this is our solar system. Means Pluto, and Pluto is here, and it is only here. And we observe many comets far beyond our, the boundary of Pluto. This one, so many. And because they are inclined in this direction, in order to balance this, we have to have something massive is in this orbit. We call this the planet X, which will be bigger than estimated, and found that it should be bigger than the earth, and it should be somewhere in this region. And the this Japanese telescope Subaru, it is looking at it, but there is no success. uh, Scientists are not still detected this, but if they will detect, it will be the very big discovery. So this planet is called Planet X. The exoplanet. You always talk about this, SpaceX, Mission Mars, and few people are talking that what will happen, because the sun uh, is becoming brighter and brighter by 1%, 10% in 1 billion year. So if even sun brightness will increase by 1 or 2%, we will not able to live on the earth. So we have to shift from here. Technology can hold for few thousand more years, few, but we need to move somewhere. So we are looking for the another planet, the planet which belongs to another star other than the sun is called the exoplanets. So till date we have seen that this from the NASA website I have taken 5000 uh, 502 exoplanets are confirmed. So how do we see them? We use two techniques, that is called the radial velocity method and transit method. In what happens, you can't see the planet of other stars because stars are very bright and planets are very very dim and small. So what we can see, if any star is bubbling like this one, so we can calculate the radial velocity of this one, and from this radial velocity will be the same, the the velocity of this planet. And another method is the transit method. You can look at, if it is in your angle view of your telescope, you can see you can observe the dimming of light. From this you can determine that there are many other methods, but these are two very popular method to find out the exoplanet. So we can determine the mass and the other parameters. One parameter is called the Goldilocks zone, means every sun, if a planet have a certain distance from uh, its sun, then there will be a temperature range, like earth and Mars are in a Goldilocks zone of the sun. So at that distance, it will be the earth like condition, so life is possible. So we are looking at those things also. And almost in the last, I will talk about this year a Nobel Prize in Physics. It's a very very correlated field of my research. And this lady, I have worked with this one, the N Hulier, and this the Austrian physicist, this is American. They got to generate the attosecond pulses. The atom, the S to P transition, it takes in a femtosecond. Femto means 10 power minus 15, the sum law, उसके बाद 15 जीरो, उसके बाद कोई टाइम. इट्स सो स्मॉल. एंड इन ऑर्डर टू प्रोब दिस थिंग यू नीड अ पल्स ऑफ एटो सेकेंड्स. लाइक हम लोग मूवी नहीं देखते हैं, मूवी क्या है, फिल्म है, अलग अलग फोटोग्राफ है, लेकिन वो फास्ट चलती हैं. लगभग 1 सेकेंड में 12 फिल्म जाती है, तो हमें लगता है मूवी चल रही है. तो इन ऑर्डर टू observe the electron motion, how the cloud changes, we need a very fast pulses. So this lady in 1986, what she did, she passed a laser pulse, टाइटेनियम सफायर 800 नैनोमीटर, एक गैस सेल्स है जिसमें ये नोबल ग्लासेस थे. और इस तरफ इन्होंने ये देखा कि ये 1.6 इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट का यदि इन्होंने ये फोटान किया है, तो इस सेल से क्या हो रहा है आप देखिए, यहाँ पे 21 30 40 मीन्स ओवरटोन्स जनरेट हो रहा है. आप लो एनर्जी फोटॉन डाल रहे हो, लेकिन अब आपको हाई एनर्जी एक्सरेज मिल रही हैं. इट वाज अ वेरी बिग इन्वेंशन. और इसी पल्सेस से वी कैन see the interference of these pulses, we can generate the attosecond pulses. Attosecond means 10 power minus 18 second. So you can take the snapshot of molecular motions या electron cloud motions, और इसको what we call it in the present times molecular movies, and we can see how the charge cloud changes. You see it is in the, you see time elapsed, it is in the femtosecond. You see the interference, then you can simulate the how charge cloud is. So we can clearly see this picture how charge cloud changes, and we determine the dynamics of these things. So it's a very very powerful tool. Developing these techniques, they got the Nobel Prize. Now I will conclude my talk. So, education is the basis for both individual and social development because it equips people with knowledge and analytical abilities they need to advance themselves and their societies. So, and I told you the three takeaways. Once again, I will repeat: subject oriented pedagogy, formative assessment, and the recent knowledge integration. That's three things teacher can do in their class. Formative assessment, I talked about, very important. We should leave the summative assessment and adopt the formative assessment. It will enhance the learning outcome. And recent knowledge integration, very important. And I also told about the mysteries of the universe and this year Nobel Prize. With this I will uh, stop my talk, and now talk is open for the questions. You can ask any question freely.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, in your very initial slides, you talked about the spirituality.
Yes.
So I want to know what scenario you find of spirituality in the NEP in the current scenario.
No, I talked about
No, you
spirituality.
were talking about the Vivekananda's phenomena and all other things.
No, no,
So
I
is
was
it
talking.
feasible
I
with the
was I
current
was
NEP?
talking. No, no, I was talking about how education system evolved. People take the things from that, not exactly they took the Vivekanand things. Vivekanand told that
That's why
this
I'm
should be
asking.
the.
We are going to
Yeah,
follow
yeah,
the NEP.
yeah.
So is it feasible to follow the spirituality in NEP?
Why not? Spirituality. What's the problem in adopting the spirituality? It's the
There is no
epitome of
option in
the knowledge.
NEP, I think.
But there is no mention in NAP. I consider I was telling this in the historical background of Indian education system. Said that it takes inspiration 21st century, not all the things from the Vivekanand, but few points from them, like a holistic education, man making, and as I showed my picture from the birds, that every different person have different abilities. We have to bring it out like this. So it was in the particular context of Vivekanand.
Okay, sir. My second question is, you have termed inquiry and problem and conceptual based problems
Mm,
for the projects of the students or the students who are going for their project work.
yeah.
May you differentiate between these three, inquiry,
Which one?
problem, and conceptual based?
I said,
If a teacher is handling two or three
I,
students,
yeah. So the
uh,
first is the inquiry based, means you have to ask the question. Students should pose the question कि why does an apple fall? रॉकेट ऊपर क्यों गया? गिरा नहीं, पत्थर फेंका तो नीचे आ गया, रॉकेट ऊपर चला गया। इस तरह के क्वेश्चन यदि पोज हम करके यदि सॉल्यूशन लाते हैं, तो दैट इज
sir,
कॉल्ड द इंक्वायरी बेस्ड।
I am asking in the higher terms for a higher education.
हाँ,
Either
आप
it's a
पूछ लो ना,
BTech
व्हाई
student
देयर
or
इज डार्क
MTech
मैटर।
student. So if
आप
it
पूछो ना।
comes with inquiry, so
हाँ,
inquiry,
हायर
problem,
एजु
and conceptual,
हाँ,
how
हायर
we can we
एजुकेशन,
differentiate?
हायर
Either we go for
एजुकेशन में आपको
the inquiry or his problem, or we go through the concept what we are teaching to him or her. Where we have to go?
देखिए, मेरे टीचर जो कहा करते थे कि आपको यदि प्रॉब्लम पता है तो यू कैन फाइंड आउट द सॉल्यूशन। यदि क्लियर, इफ यू नो द क्लियर प्रॉब्लम, तो प्रॉब्लम यदि ये बच्चे को ये पता है कि व्हाट इज वेव फंक्शन, यदि ये क्लियर है तो बाकी की चीजें क्लियर हो जाएंगी। तो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू पोज द क्वेश्चन, दैट इज द इंक्वायरी बेस्ड लर्निंग। और इसमें एक चीज मैं आपको और बता देता हूं कि अभी वी आर स्टार्टिंग रिसर्च आर इन दिस फील्ड इन इंडिया, वी आर द फर्स्ट इंस्टीट्यूट। और इस पे बहुत ज़्यादा अभी काम हुआ नहीं है कि पर्टिकुलर एकदम साइंसेस के हायर एजुकेशन में कैसे इसको करना है। सो बट आई टेक अवेज फ्रॉम द, और आपके इस क्वेश्चन का जो पीआर वाला है, उसका आंसर कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स में आपको मिलेगा प्रोफेसर चंद्रलेखा सिंह के लेक्चर में।
सर से ये मेरा एक जानकारी है, प्रश्न नहीं है, कि आप बार बार नोबेल प्राइज की बात कर रहे हैं, तो हम एजुकेशन के हैं, बच्चों में कैसे नोबल उनका बढ़ाया जाए, कैसे नोबल की तरफ ले जाए, ऐसे क्या उपाय किया जाए, कैसे उनको पढ़ाया जाए कि उनके अंदर नोबल बनने की क्षमता विकसित हो।
देखिए, नोबेल प्राइज का मेरा मतलब है कि कोई भी पुरस्कार जो मोटिवेट कर सके। इसमें बात मोटिवेशन की है। आप अपने क्लासरूम में जब भी जाएं तो ये बताएं जो सब्जेक्ट आप पढ़ा रहे हैं उसमें क्या क्या इन्वेंशंस हुए हैं, क्या आप कर रहे हैं और क्या तुम फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट क्या है, उसके लिए मोटिवेशन। क्लास में देखिए, मैं तो कहता हूँ तीन चीज ही चाहिए एजुकेशन में। मन जो है, MMS कहता हूँ उसको, मनी,
जी,
मोटिवेशन और सपोर्ट। मतलब
जी,
कि मोटिवेशन स्टूडेंट के लिए, सपोर्ट टीचर के लिए और मनी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर दोनों के लिए।
जी।
तो यू हैव टू मोटिवेट। जैसे भी क्ले इंस्टीट्यूट प्रॉब्लम मैंने दिखाया, या फिजिक्स के बिग प्रॉब्लम है। आप किस बैकग्राउंड के हैं सर?
एजुकेशन।
एजुकेशन।
जी,
अच्छा। हाँ, तो यही है किसी भी सब्जेक्ट में जो है, मैं तो साइंसेस का बात कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पर। आपको
जी,
मोटिवेट ये करना है कि आप क्या उससे नया दे सकते हो, क्या लोग कर दीजिए। जैसे मैंने एक चीज बात की थी कॉन्टेक्स्ट की, कि आप जब पढ़ाने जा रहे हो तो उसका पूरा हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड, कॉन्टेक्स्ट और उस व्हाट यू कैन टेक अवे फ्रॉम इट, ये आप बताओगे तभी। आप गए क्लास में पढ़ा दिया कि आज मैं आया और आज बीम ऑफ बेंडिंग पढ़ा दिया या लेजर पढ़ा दिया या कोई सब्जेक्ट, ऐसे नहीं होगा। यू हैव टू मोटिवेट कि लेजर जो है 25 नोबेल प्राइज जीता है। आप स्किन की सर्जरी से लेकर लैप्रोस्कोपी से लेकर पूरी इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, हर जगह लेजर आज छाया। आप एक एक चीज हम आप आज हम जो इंटरनेट पे बात कर रहे हैं सिर्फ लेजर के चलते हैं, ये ऑप्टिकल फाइबर्स।
सर मेरी बात शायद नहीं समझ पा रहे हैं आप। मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि बच्चों को अच्छा बनाने के लिए मोटिवेशन तो आप देंगे तो उसको आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, मतलब उसमें डिसिप्लिन नोबल जो विकसित होगा वह कैसे विकसित होगा, बच्चे में इंक्रीज करेगा। मोटिवेशन ठीक है, एक पार्ट हो सकता है, मगर वो नोबल बनाने के लिए उसको क्या क्या किया जा सकता है।
वो हमारे सर बताएंगे क्योंकि वो टीचर एजुकेशन के प्रोफेसर हैं। मैं हायर का, नो बच्चों को कैसे बनाएंगे, सर बताइए।
धन्यवाद। दिनेश जी के कहने का मतलब शायद ये रहा होगा कि नोबेल प्राइज तो बहुत लिमिटेड लोगों को मिलती है,
जी,
लेकिन नोबलनेस का गुण
जी,
बच्चे में कैसे विकसित किया जाए।
जी, जी,
ठीक है, सवाल
जी,
यही तो नहीं है आपका?
जी, जी, यही है।
और अभी प्रशांत जी ने भी एक बात कही थी, मैं दोनों लोगों को एक साथ कोरिलेट करूं। उन्होंने कहा था कि स्पिरिचुअलिटी का एनईपी में कहीं कोई उल्लेख नहीं है। प्रशांत जी, मैं ठीक बोल रहा हूं या अगर मैं ठीक से नहीं समझ पाया हूं तो आप मुझे करेक्ट करिएगा प्लीज।
नहीं नहीं सर, जी सर, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर,
ठीक
करेक्ट
है,
सर।
तो मैं आपको बताता हूं, पढ़ देता हूं। एनईपी का हिंदी वर्जन पेज नंबर 3 से शुरू होता है, यानी पेज नंबर 3 में 3 से 4 तक है, और उसमें एक बात कही गई है कि शिक्षा से चरित्र निर्माण, सीधे 3-4 पेज पर आ जाएं। शिक्षा से चरित्र निर्माण होना चाहिए, विद्यार्थियों में नैतिकता, तार्किकता, करुणा और संवेदनशीलता विकसित करनी चाहिए, साथ ही रोजगार के लिए सक्षम बनाना चाहिए। एक बात क्या
जी,
कहता है? चरित्र निर्माण, नैतिकता, करुणा और संवेदनशीलता। आप जब थोड़ा सा बहुत सामान्य तौर पर भी सोचेंगे तो स्पिरिचुअलिटी अगर आध्यात्मिक रूप से देखा जाए तो थोड़ी ऊंची चीज है, लेकिन दैनिक जीवन के व्यवहार में अभी यह आगे भी एक बात कहती है कि प्राचीन और सनातन भारतीय ज्ञान और विचार की समृद्ध परंपरा के आलोक में यह नीति तैयार की गई है। ज्ञान, प्रज्ञा और सत्य की खोज को भारतीय विचार परंपरा और दर्शन में सदा सर्वोच्च मानवीय लक्ष्य माना जाता था। दिनेश जी और
जी,
प्रशांत जी,
जी,
बच्चे को सबसे पहले एक अच्छा इंसान बनाया जाए।
जी,
हाँ, मैं राज की एक बात को थोड़ा करेक्ट करना चाहूंगा यहाँ पर जब उन्होंने कहा कि हम साइंस की बात करते हैं, अभी पहले ही व्याख्यान में आदरणीय प्रोफेसर एसी पांडे जी ने कहा कि हमने बहुत सारे कंपार्टमेंट बना रखे हैं और ये खुद के बनाए हुए कंपार्टमेंट हैं हमारे। हम साइंस के विशेषज्ञ हो सकते हैं, कोई ललित कलाओं का विशेषज्ञ हो सकता है, लेकिन उसे एक नोबल ह्यूमन बीइंग बनाना, एक अच्छा इंसान बनाना, यह शिक्षा का पहला उद्देश्य शुरू से रहा है और आज भी है। अब ये होगा कैसे? बेसिक सवाल दिनेश का यह था कि होगा कैसे। ये दो
जी।
चीजों से होगा। ये काम शुरू होता है परिवार से, क्योंकि बच्चा अनुकरण से सीखता है। अब आप कहेंगे कि साहब हायर एजुकेशन में हम बात कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना, लेकिन बिना परिवार के, बिना बेसिक एजुकेशन के हायर एजुकेशन तक तो बच्चा आएगा ही नहीं। विद्यालय, समाज और परिवार में 3 संबंध बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है जो हमें समझने होंगे। परिवार में जो क्षमताएं या जो आदतें बच्चा अर्जित करता है, शिक्षा के माध्यम से हम उसका परिष्कार करते हैं, ठीक है ना। और विद्यालय परिष्कार की नर्सरी है, परिष्कार का वर्कशॉप है, जहां उसके गुणों का परिष्कार किया जाता है। और गुण 2 तरह के, मानवीय गुणों का भी और कौशलात्मक गुणों का भी, क्योंकि जीवन जीने के लिए कौशल की भी जरूरत होगी, रोजगार की भी जरूरत होगी। लेकिन अच्छा आदमी जब बन जाएगा तो जिस विधा में जाएगा, जिस फील्ड में जाएगा, वो अच्छा काम करेगा। अभी सवेरे और कोविड का उदाहरण आया था, आप सबने देखा। मैं पुराने उदाहरण की बात वैदिक काल की नहीं करना चाहूंगा। मैंने ऐसे कई डॉक्टरों को देखा जो रात रात भर सोचे कि भाई अगर मरीज तक हमारी पहुंच नहीं हो रही है, तो एक डॉक्टर साहब ने मुझे रात को 11 बजे फोन किया कि डॉक्टर साहब, हम तो केवल अंग्रेजी में लिख सकते हैं, लेकिन ये जानकारी आम आदमी तक पहुंचे, इसको हिंदी में इसका ट्रांसलेट करिए इसको। और एक व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बनाते हैं हम लोग। अलग अलग लोगों ने अलग अलग तरह से काम किया। हमने उन डॉक्टरों को भी देखा जिन्होंने मरीजों को जी भर के लूटा, ध्यान रखिए। और आपने भी देखा, केवल हमने नहीं देखा, आप सब ने देखा। ऐसे भी लोग मिले जिन्होंने मौके का भरपूर लाभ उठाया और जी भर के लूटा, चाहे सरकार को, चाहे लोगों को, चाहे मरीजों को। दूसरी तरफ ऐसे भी लोग थे जिन्होंने जितनी उनकी क्षमता थी उतनी दूसरों की मदद करने की बात की। बात वहीं पे आके रुक जाती है। क्यों? उनमें नोबलनेस था, जिन्होंने मदद करने की सोची। उनमें कहीं ना कहीं स्पिरिचुअलिटी थी, जिन्होंने लोगों को मदद करने की सोची, ठीक है ना। और वहीं दूसरी ओर जिनमें इसके विपरीत था, उन्होंने मौके का भरपूर लाभ लूटने में उठाया। इसलिए पढ़ाएं हम चाहे जो कुछ, बच्चे की रुचि के मुताबिक पढ़ाएं, लेकिन उसे एक अच्छा आदमी बनाने की कोशिश करें। शिक्षा नीति ये जरूर कहती है, इसीलिए वो कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग की बात करती है, इसीलिए वो कहती है कि चरित्र निर्माण होना चाहिए, इसीलिए वो कहती है कि विनम्रता का, दया का, मानवता के गुणों का विकास होना चाहिए। जब इन गुणों का विकास होगा तो वो आध्यात्मिकता की ओर बढ़ेगा, और नहीं तो किस तरफ बढ़ रहा है ये आप भी देख रहे हो, हम भी देख रहे हैं। जी
जी, धन्यवाद सर,
दिनेश जी
धन्यवाद।
और प्रशांत जी, शिक्षा नीति में है इस मैं आपको कहना चाहूं,
जी
ये
सर, जी सर।
भले ही आध्यात्मिकता के रूप में या स्पिरिचुअलिटी शब्द के रूप में नहीं हो, लेकिन स्पिरिचुअलिटी के जो बेसिक गुण है ना, जो प्रारंभिक स्तर पर हैं, उन सारे गुणों की चर्चा की गई है। उनके
की
विकास
गई
का काम हमें करना है।
जी सर, की गई है, लेकिन बस एक यही प्रश्न उठता है बार बार,
हाँ,
उसको कोर्स करिकुलम में क्यों नहीं ऐड किया गया, आइदर अंडर ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे या पीजी लेवल पे। जैसे हम लोग पढ़ते थे पहले, बचपन में पढ़ते थे, मोरल वैल्यू एजुकेशन पढ़ते थे,
हाँ,
अभी भी कुछ कोर्सेज में बीटेक में चलता है,
हाँ।
तो कहीं ना कहीं उसको क्यों छोड़ दिया गया?
देखो एक चीज है, आपका सवाल जो है वो कभी हमारे भी सवाल हुआ करते थे। हम लोगों ने भी पढ़ा, हमारे पूर्वज पढ़ा, ठीक है। इतिहास से हम दो चीजें जरूर सीखते हैं। मेरे जैसा आदमी एक बात कहता है बार बार, और इसीलिए इतिहास की जरूरत है कि हम अपनी गलतियों से सबक लें और अपनी अच्छाइयों से प्रेरणा लें। ठीक है ना। पाठ्यक्रम बनाना हमारे हाथ में नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है। कोई भी पाठ्यक्रम जब आ जाता है सरकार की ओर से भी, तो उसमें 30% बदलाव की गुंजाइश उन इंस्टीट्यूट्स को होती है।
चेंज कर सकते हैं सर।
और हमारे आप जैसे लोग ही उन कमेटियों में होते हैं। लेकिन होता क्या है दोस्त, हकीकत में यह है कि उस ड्राफ्ट को पढ़ना पड़ेगा और हमारी आवश्यकता के अनुसार उसमें क्या चेंज है वो ले आने के लिए प्रयास करना पड़ेगा। हम उससे जो बचते हैं वो केवल रोना रोते हैं कि ऐसा क्यों हो गया, और जो थोड़ा कोशिश करते हैं वो 100% नहीं तो 30% तो अपनी वाली घुसा ही सकते हैं। ठीक है ना। जो मानवता के लिए उपयोगी हो, जो स्थानीय परिवेश के अनुसार बच्चे के लिए उपयोगी हो। निश्चित तौर से कुछ चीजें हैं जो होनी चाहिए थी, नहीं हुई, तो जहां मौका मिले वहां कर लें। और इसीलिए हमने कहा कि घर से शुरू होता है, पाठ्यक्रम नहीं है। अभी दिनेश कुमार संयोग से मेरे विद्यार्थी भी रहे हैं।
जी सर
मैं
जी।
एक उदाहरण बताता हूं।
चलो,
ऐसा है कि हम लोगों की कक्षाओं में या विश्वविद्यालयों में कई जगह पर रेमेडियल कोचिंग वगैरह चलती है। हम तो कोचिंग के लिए कभी पढ़ाते नहीं, हमने तो नेट जेआरएफ के लिए कभी पढ़ाई कराई नहीं। हाँ, हफ्ते में एक दिन, 15 दिन में एक दिन पूछ लेते थे कि भाई तैयारी कैसी चल रही है। तो जरूरी नहीं है कि कोई चीज पाठ्यक्रम में रहे तभी वो मतलब बेहतर परिणाम देगी। भाई खूबी तो ये है कि बिना पाठ्यक्रम के भी हम उसमें लग जाएं, और यकीन मानो हम 20 लोग जुड़े हुए हैं, अगर ये 20 लोग अपने अपने लेवल पर लग जाएं तो अच्छा रिजल्ट आ सकता है, ऐसा मेरा मानना है।
बिल्कुल सर, धन्यवाद सर।
हाँ।
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, मोमिता दास जी।
Next question.
Hello. Yes. Hello, everyone. I had a
हेलो।
question. Dr. Raj Singh was speaking about formative assessment. I just wanted to know that NEP include any special way of assessment, like which includes the formative assessment process. Like right now, what we do is we take 30 marks for the internal assessment, and the 70 marks is the normal stuff. And personally, I work in the geology section of Mahila Mahavidyalaya in BHU, which is a very small section. Like we have only 10 to 12 students, and there are two teachers only. The problem is there about having two teachers because we have to take more classes. Irrespective of the number of students, we have to take more classes. But since we have only 10 to 12 students, it's possible for us to go for the formative assessment as you were going. I mean, nobody taught me how to teach, but since there are less number of students, I can do that. And but that marks is can be reflected only for the 30 marks assigned for the internal assessment. Rest the 70 marks is the normal summative assessment which we have to give. So I'm just asking, does the NEP 2023 include anything special for the formative assessment part?
Yes, ma'am. As I showed in 12.1 of the NEP, that we have to move towards the formative assessment. So the circulars and things will come, and it's a as a teacher we can bring it. And the role of IUCT is that I am working on these means apps and technology and methodologies for the higher education. That how you can in the class of 60 or 70 students, how you can use the formative assessment tool without wasting your much time. So it will take a few years, but it will come slowly. In the present time there is not already met remedy, so I am working for
Eventually we might have
yeah.
more number for internal assessment or something, like
And
divided into segments, that so much marks for like type of a quiz or
Yes,
type of
yes.
something you have to present or something. Instead of having the 70 marks as summative assessment, it would be really I think it will be more मतलब ज्यादा काम का
Y-
होगा अगर ब्रांच छोटे छोटे ये करके भाग करते कि 20 मार्क्स आप इंटरनल असेसमेंट कुछ एक असाइनमेंट के लिए रखिए, कुछ एक क्विज के लिए रखिए, कुछ एक प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए रखिए इंडिविजुअल. सो दैट्स माय थॉट, बट ऑब्वियसली आई एम नॉट मेकिंग द रूल्स, सो आई वाज जस्ट
No, no, it's
आस्किंग
you
इवेंचुअली
will get
फ्यूचर में
more.
ऐसे अगर होता है
Yeah.
तो अच्छा होगा. या
ये होगा because my I have experience with the formative assessment. Means मैं यहाँ ज्वाइन करने से पहले I was in France, and there we were doing the only 20% was in the examinations. That's like 80% was in my hand totally. What will be the curriculum I will design. मैंने 10 पेपर्स लिए और बच्चों को मास्टर्स में दे दिया, हर बच्चों को अलग अलग, फिर मिक्स करके उसी पे प्रॉब्लम सेट बनाया, उनको छोटे छोटे जो चीजें, तो एकदम रिसेंट नॉलेज के हिसाब से वहाँ है. सेम वी आर गोइंग टुवर्ड्स इन दैट डायरेक्शन, बट it will take some time, and that's what the role of this institution. So I hope that in few years we will come in front of you with something before you with something like this, the
Yes,
how we
I
can.
was in US for quite a while, and over there
Yes,
they just distribute papers, and after
uh,
that, during the class, they discuss what they have learned, and
yes,
individually, everybody is asked to present. Okay, so what was your takeaway from that paper, and then they have a discussion. So, I mean, assignments are also based on papers, just the way you were saying
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened
yeah,
in class.
same thing, that
So
is
that's
called the,
what
yeah,
is followed out there. But the problem over here is we have more number of students per class. That
yeah,
specific thing is really not possible. I can do it because
no,
I have my population of students is very small, a handful. But
yes,
it's not possible for with 60, 70, 80 students. It's just not possible. So we
yeah,
have to come
that's
out
why
with
you
some
need
other way.
the, yeah, that's why you need the technology integration, and we are
Yes, yes.
trying to, yeah, I'm working on this thing,
During the
and I
COVID
think,
times,
yeah,
I did use lots of stuff
yes,
like online quiz. Like during the class, I asked, okay, now go ahead and click what answer it will be. So that was quite interesting. I learned
okay,
a lot of new stuff during the COVID times, which again, classroom teaching is back, and well, it still continues, but that was something like you get the data right away, which that the
yeah,
students who are following, which are not. So,
yes,
anyway, thank you for
Okay,
thank
thank
you.
you, ma'am. There is another question from Dr. Manish Kumar Gupta, sir. So, Manish
I
sir,
think, I
अ,
think,
मेरा प्रश्न सर ये है कि आपने फीडबैक की बात की, टू सिग्मा की बात की। जब एक शिक्षक अपने कक्षाओं का सही से संचालन भी कर रहा है और जब वो बच्चे का मूल्यांकन करता है और उस मूल्यांकन में उस प्रश्नों के आधार पर जब उसका मूल्यांकन करता है तो बहुत सारे बच्चे उसमें, मैं खासकर ऐसे कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात कर रहा हूँ जहाँ पर 80% एजुकेशन जो है राज्य विश्वविद्यालय द्वारा विद्यार्थियों को दी जाती है। तो ऐसी स्थिति में क्योंकि जो यूजीसी का आंकड़ा है 1081 विश्वविद्यालय देश में है, 57 केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय हैं, बाकी डीम्ड और हमारे स्टेट हैं, तो ज्यादातर स्टूडेंट ऐसे विश्वविद्यालयों से निकल रहे हैं जो राज्य है। ऐसी स्थिति में एक शिक्षक के ऊपर जब आप एक 1:1 रेशियो की बात कर रहे थे और यहाँ पर 1:60 या 80 रेशियो की बात है, और जब मूल्यांकन करते हैं और डिसिप्लिन के साथ करते हैं तो बहुत सारे बच्चे उसमें उस मूल्यांकन की कसौटियों पर खरे नहीं उतर पाते हैं और वो अनुत्तीर्ण हो जाते हैं। जब वो बच्चा उसी शिक्षक का मूल्यांकन करता है तो उसके अंदर की जो भावना होती है उस मूल्यांकन में निगेटिव रूप में आती है, जिसका प्रतिकूल प्रभाव शिक्षक के व्यक्तिगत रूप में भी पड़ता है और आजकल ये ट्रेंड ज्यादा दिख रहा है। ऐसी स्थिति में शिक्षक इस नई शिक्षा नीति में क्या कर सकता है?
शिक्षक के बारे में तो मैंने बताया कि वो क्या कर सकता है, लेकिन आपका जो प्रॉब्लम है वो बहुत सारा पॉलिसी मेकिंग बड़े लोगों का प्रॉब्लम है। अब मैं जो बता रहा हूँ वो टीचर क्या कर सकता है उसका है, तो ये दोनों का मिक्सचर है, दोनों तरफ से होगा तभी होगा।